Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to 3 ideas for maximizing travel in your benefit auction. This is Renee Zhao, co-founder of Donation Match, and I'm here with Ian Louth of Winspire. Just a few housekeeping items before we begin. Just to let you know, all of the attendees here, all of you are on mute throughout the broadcast, but if you do have any questions that come up, feel free to put them in the chat area or the questions box, and we'll be able to periodically check and get back to you. The webinar slides will not be distributed, but a video version of this entire webinar will be sent out after we're done by email, so look for that. And again, we will have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So the questions you enter in the question section will be answered afterward. Oh, and don't forget to live tweet us at WinspireMe or Donation Match using the hashtag #MaximizeTravel. Let's get started. So again, my name is Renee Zhao. I am the CEO and founder of Donation Match. And for those of you who don't already know about us, we are an online platform whose primary job is to partner with charitable companies that like to donate to your auctions, raffles, and event giveaways and make them easier for you to reach all in one place. To date, we've already actually facilitated over $16 million worth of goods to events all around the US and look forward to helping you at your next event. With me is Ian Louth from Winspire, and I will let him do his own intro.
Thanks, Renee. Thanks for the great introduction. As she said, my name is Ian Louth, and I'm the marketing director here at Winspire. And for those of you who aren't aware, Winspire is all about creating incredible travel experiences to be used in nonprofit auctions. So far, we've raised in excess of $38 million for nonprofit causes since our inception, and we've been at over 28,500 events globally. That includes all over North America, and we've booked well over 60,000 satisfied winning bidders. So the name of the game for us is travel and raising money. And just to kind of side note, gift for you guys to encourage you to stick around here. We're going to be giving away a PDF with 400 amazing auction item ideas at the end of the webinar. So please stick around. So Renee, I'm interested to hear what you think on this too. We wanted to start off with a poll and get you guys engaged out there. We're going to start with a question. You'll see it on your screen there. What is your biggest fundraising challenge when it comes to hosting a webinar? And so you'll see some answers pop up on your screen. You can choose from procuring quality auction items, building your guest list, promoting your event, or reaching your fundraising goal. For Renee, what do you usually see out there as your biggest challenge?
Well, I've worked with over 60 events myself. So all of these are super important. But in my opinion, if you have the right quality auction items, it helps with attracting guests. It will create more word of mouth for your event and obviously help you reach your fundraising goals. That's my personal challenge.
Nice, and don't let that skew the results here, but it looks like a lot of people out there tend to agree. If you haven't voted yet, definitely vote on your screen. I want to hear what you have to say here. Looks like we have about 70% of our attendees voting here. So I'm going to close the poll now in 3, 2, 1, and share the results. As you can see, it's a really, really common challenge that a lot of people face and a lot of people share, and that is, procuring quality auction items. As Renee said, it's difficult to get auction items. Oftentimes, it takes the most effort and time prior to your event to go out and solicit donations, and it can have huge rewards, right? It can mean a lot more entertaining event, a lot more success in terms of fundraising. So it's definitely a very common challenge that we definitely see out there. So with that, let's go back to the presentation. Thanks for that participation. But today we're here to talk about travel and how to use travel in your fundraising event. And with regard to travel, what do we mean by experiential travel, which is commonly what you want to be including in your fundraising event. And that usually means an experience that has airfare, lodging, and some sort of experience to entertain them while they're there. And what that's going to do is really increase the perceived value of the travel items that you include in your auction. I'm going to say the word perceived value a lot today, and that's a really important concept to understand. It goes well beyond the actual value of an experience or a travel package, because as anyone who's been a part of a fundraising event knows, when you're in the excitement of an event and it's all about fundraising, the actual value of an item, especially travel item, it matters little to none, right? What matters is the perceived value that you can build in that moment to get them to want to spend money on this item and get really excited. So that perceived value quotient is very important to consider. And when you have a complete package that has airfare or lodging and experience, that perceived value is going to rise much quicker, and you're going to be able to raise a lot more money there. Some examples of just some experiences that signature experiences that we do. They're very common, very popular. Trips to Napa Valley are huge, very common. Sporting events like Kentucky Derby or the Masters. Lately, Hamilton has been selling like wildfire, of course, and it's been tremendous for nonprofits around the country to be able to use that. There will be a package that that we sell that's costs $4,000, but it'll go for over $10,000. That's because the perceived value is so much higher than the actual value of those Hamilton tickets. And as far as experiential travel goes, it's by far it's the best-selling auction item in the country, and we're going to talk about that here today. And it's far more so than kind of the general items like a flat-screen TV or an Xbox or jewelry. Even jewelry is up there too, as far as things that can get a lot of money. But experiential travel is definitely one of the most popular. And the reason is because it can really help your event stand out. And I know we all love our gift baskets out there, and they're definitely a very important part of a silent auction in particular. But one question we always love to ask our guests is, would you rather take a donor out to lunch the following week that bid $20 on a gift basket or $5,000 on a travel package? So having those big ticket items like travel in your auction are going to help it stand apart. And another reason why is because donors tend to be very sophisticated buyers. The people that you are attracting or want to have at your event are the kind of folks that are used to buying really nice things, right? They have sophisticated tastes, and they're only really going to buy what they want. So in that sense, it's very difficult to get items, right, or get services that are going to really appeal to these people just from your local, stores or items like merchandise versus travel, which can really appeal to everyone. And we're going to talk a little bit more about why that's so.
I just wanted to add too that what Ian said is really interesting, that having packages like this helps you identify those donors that do have money that are attending your events, obviously care about your cause, but will actually raise their hands and identify themselves for you. It's interestingly, what I've learned through fundraising events is that you really can't assume that you know everybody in the room. You don't know what they're thinking. You don't know their financial ability to support you. And this is a really great way to help you even know who they are.
That's totally true, Renee. Thank you for that. And we're going to run through these 3 quick reasons why travel sells so well. And that is because it's unique, it's popular, and there's travel budgets. We're going to touch on each of these here. First off, travel is unique. One thing that's nice about being able to use travel is there's virtually unlimited options. Travel can mean for a local experience, a local sports team getting tickets to the Diamond Club. It can also mean a cross-country or world, wide trip, going to the Galapagos or the African safari, and everything in between. And there are unlimited options, both in things that you can procure or trips that you can try to purchase yourself, which we don't necessarily recommend, or consignment travel, which are all 3 options for getting travel into your fundraising event. But the nice thing about travel is it is very, very unique, and there's unlimited options. And that's really important, especially when you consider the donors that are coming to your events. We survey every single donor and winning bidder that comes across, those 60,000 we mentioned before. We're surveying every single one to talk about their habits in terms of event fundraising. And we found that 76%, that's huge. That is well over two-thirds of these donors are attending 3 or more events per year. And those are not for a single cause. Those are for multiple nonprofits. So it's really important to have unique and exciting auction items that are going to help your event stand out and get people excited to return to your event year after year. And it's when you talk about new and exciting things, we always just like to ask, what's on your bucket list? If you guys have, any places on your bucket list, now would be the time to share them. Renee, what do you think? Do you have any places that's on your bucket list?
Well, I think a trip to Italy and wine country and Milan fashion, all of that has been on my wish list for a very long time.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. I want to make it back to Europe. I've never been to like Indochina, that whole place. I definitely want to go explore a little bit more. So bucket list items like that these are questions that you're going to want to ask your audience. And again, we're going to touch on that a little bit later about how exactly you should be selecting and acquiring these items based on your audience taste. So stick with us. Next, travel is popular? The fact of the matter is everyone loves travel. And we've surveyed those same donors that we put on trips every year, and we found that they travel a ton. 2/3 of them, they take 3 or more trips per year. Half of them take 4 more trips per year, and this could be anything from a weekend trip to a week-long trip. But the fact of the matter is the donors that you're targeting travel a ton, especially because they have a little bit more money to do so with. So the craziest stat that I saw is that 17% of them take 6 or more trips per year, and that's money spent that is going to be spent one way or another. It could be with a travel agent, or it could be with your nonprofit. And so the point that we're trying to convey here is that they're going to be traveling anyway, so you should be putting products in your auction, both live and silent, to make sure that they're spending that money with you. Another great thing about experiences is that people share them. People aren't going to share on social media about how they got a big, nice flat screen TV or gym membership from your auction. On the other hand, if you give them a really, really cool experience, they're going to share that on social media, and you can follow up with them prior to their travel and say, hey, share the love, tell us about your experience. Give them a hashtag like bucket list travel or something to do with your charity. Encourage them to post on Instagram, and what you're going to get is free promotion, free marketing for your cause and for your benefit. And other people are going to see that they went on this trip because of you, and then they're going to be more interested in coming to one of your events. So definitely a huge part of including travel in your auction. Lastly, travel budgets, and this one is huge. Okay, this kind of is in line with the fact that people are already traveling, but there is money that people set aside for vacations, and this is separate from the philanthropic budget that you're used to targeting with your events and with your auction items. This is a totally separate budget that people are already setting aside specifically for vacations. How much? We'll talk about it in a second, but there's a Amex, American Express travel survey that found that 58% of Americans save specifically for travel, and we know that in a charitable setting where they are wealthy folks who already set aside money for philanthropy, you sure as heck bet that they're going to set aside money for travel as well. So when you're looking at your audience, that's a very important thing to consider. How much money are we talking about here? Well, just last year in 2015, there was $600 billion spent on leisure travel. So it's our goal, right, as Winspire, as a travel provider for nonprofits, to start directing some of that $600 billion towards your cause and towards your goal. Those same people that we were surveying, those winning bidders, we asked how much money do you set aside? 83% of them set aside at least $5,000 each year. That's money they're going to spend one way or another on travel, might as well be at your auction. On top of that, over half, and this was kind of crazy, I wish I was part of this statistic, but unfortunately I am not part of this statistic yet, hopefully. Over half of winning bidders budget over $10,000 each year for travel. That means they're spending $10,000 on leisure travel, and that's money that they should be spending at your event. And it's a common thing that you'll hear, especially with regard to events. Donors have more to give. There's more often than not, there's going to be donors who are walking out of the door at your event with money that they didn't otherwise spend because you didn't give them the opportunity to do so through revenue generating opportunities, whatever. But if you have items out there that excite them, that get them to want to open their wallets in support of a good cause, they will spend it at your event. So the key here is to give them the really cool items that they're going to want to do that with. So how should you get travel for your fundraiser? Well, this is sort of a weighted question. I know that I'm going to be definitely biased on this, but there are many, many ways to get travel, and you should be out there trying to procure travel, whether it's airline tickets, getting people to donate their miles, local sports teams, hotels. It should absolutely be part of your procurement strategy, and it's something that we encourage. We want you to do that. That's why we provide tons of resources for you to go do that. We have an ebook all about how to procure quality auction items, as well as a starter kit that has donation form and a donation letter template that you can use. Definitely go download those to help in your procurement efforts. But for us as a travel provider, we don't want to. It's not up to us to be all of the items in your auction. We want you to have donated items because those are going to have a good return as well. But also, obviously, there's the consignment piece, which we'll talk about here in a second. And let's talk about acquisition, actually. So here's the 3 key strategies that we promised you guys today for how to use fundraising or how to use travel for fundraising. And they break down into 3, right? There's acquisition of travel, the promotion of it, and how to generate profit from it. So let's get right into it. As far as which travel you should acquire, the most important part about figuring that out is knowing your audience, right? Instead of blanketing your community with donation letters, be targeted about what you ask for and what you're trying to procure based on your audience interest. They're going to spend a lot more money if you take the time and effort to figure out where they want to go and what they want to do. Remember that perceived value idea? That perceived value is going to be 2 or 3 times as high if you can really cater the travel that you include in your auction to your audience. And that starts by surveying them. You can send out free surveys through SurveyMonkey or whatever. There's a ton of different free services out there, and ask them questions like, what's on your bucket list? What's your favorite hobby? What's your if you could travel anywhere, where would you go? Those sorts of things. Solicit your or just ask your most important donors, your VIPs, the biggest donors, what is on their bucket list? What do they want to do? And then start using that to develop your procurement strategy, both for donations and with consignment. A quick note on procuring travel as far as risk goes, and here's where consignment comes into play, because in general, travel is risky, right? If you are procuring travel and you're procuring donated components, it's you tend to put yourself in a corner in terms of when they can travel, how what sort of components you're able to put together in terms of blackout dates and things of that sort. It's really hard to tell when people want to travel, what type of interest they have when you put it in your auction. So having really open-ended travel is how you increase that perceived value. The open-ended travel, where giving them unlimited travel dates, where and when they want to take their experience. But that's really, really hard with donated travel components. But that's how you get that perceived value up there, so that people are going to end up spending a lot more on that travel package. Go ahead.
I know that flexibility to me is important, because I don't want someone to tell me, if you buy this package, you have to use it on this weekend and this month, in this year. And specifically, know that if I don't use it, I lose it. Totally. So I love the ability to actually choose myself and know that you do have fewer blackout dates and more choices.
Let's look at a classic example that I'm sure many of you out there can probably relate to. Familiar scenario, right? You have the board member with their vacation condo that they've been donating year after year, and it's been great. It's raised you a lot of money, but one year you put it together as part of this huge package and sell it for a ton of money to these donors who are really excited. After the event, all saying good, you collect the money, they go to book it, but it's now sold, or it's under renovation, or something's wrong, and then it turns into a huge headache for you, the event organizer, to all of a sudden now you're playing travel agent, and you're trying to plan this experience for these donors that they bought last spring or whatever, a year ago even, and it's a huge headache for you. So that is why Winspire came about, is for no risk travel, so that you don't have to worry about it once the event is over. We take care of all the winning bidder experience. They can book it whenever they want. They have a full service travel and concierge team, and it really takes the headache out of it for you guys. And not to mention the fact that you don't pay for it to use it in your event. It's all no risk, so you only purchase the experience after the event's over and after you've raised money and you know that it's successfully brought in a return for you. That's where Winspire came about, is because we were actually a full service production company. We did the whole thing, where the whole shebang, where we'd go set up the event, get the venue, we would go solicit for donations, and we put it up, and we realized that going out and getting these travel donations, because we knew travel was such an important piece of an auction, that there was a whole lot of headache around this, and it was very difficult for nonprofits to leverage it. And so we the owner, Jeff Kova, turned it into a business, and now the business is to help nonprofits fundraise using travel and do it on a no risk basis, so they don't have to pay for it and have that risk up front. Continuing with acquisition, think about what is the purpose of the travel that you're getting donated. You want to choose packages and travel items and bundle items together, especially if you give little pieces of dinner here, limo service there, that will appeal to every single audience segment. And what do I mean by that? Well, I have this little diagram here that I think illustrates really, really well what your acquisition strategy should be for travel. So if you think about your audience on any given event, you have your top 15% of your audience. It's going to be your VIP guests. These are going to be your wealthy donors who spend big money, especially in the live auction. They're going to buy those, multiple thousands of dollars, spend multiple thousands of dollars in the live auction, also maybe in your cash appeal. Then you have your lower 15%, which are your non-participants. These are people who are typically guests of guests, don't really spend a whole lot of money in auctions. Really you can kind of ignore them in terms of the auction items that you're procuring. But then there's that middle 70%, which is everyone else, right? And this is a huge portion of your audience who have those travel budgets still, right? Maybe around the $5,000 range, who are willing to spend money, right? And they have it, but they might not participate in the live auction. You think about the last event you were at, typically maybe like, depending on the size, maybe it was like 5 to 10 people in the live auction. There's a ton of people who think that the live auction is entertaining, but would never raise their hand and participate in that. So you really want to have some middle of the road auction items that appeal to those folks, and that's that middle of the price range. So when you're procuring travel or looking at auction packages, it's important to take that into consideration. And for us, that's why we split our product categories into two categories. We have our signature experiences that we've created that are these incredible priceless experiences that are reserved for the live auction. Things like Super Bowl, Hamilton on Broadway, a trip to Ireland, James Beard House, which is an incredible chef experience where for 12 people in New York City, Tuscany truffle, like you mentioned, Renee. These are your live auction items that you're going to want to use to really appeal to that top 15% of your audience. Then there's the middle of the road. What we have is we partnered actually with Preferred Luxury Hotels to just do hotel stays around the country, and actually around the world. These are luxury boutique hotels. You can see these price points are closer to $1,000, right? $900, maybe $1,100. These are the minimum bids that you'll see, and these are what you can use to really target that middle of the road 70% of your audience. So especially even when you're procuring items, take that into consideration as you bundle it, right? You might have a really incredible, vacation condo that's far away that you have to get plane tickets to, versus the local, sporting tickets down the road that people might spend $500 to $1,000 on. It's just important to hit both tiers of your audience. When you're dealing with no-risk travel consignment, there's a lot of options out there. Winspire is just one of many. There's lots of great companies out there, some okay ones, but there's lots of companies that will offer consignment travel. What we would recommend is to become an educated buyer, right? Just make sure that you read the fine print, you know the process, you ask them about what they're going to do with your winning bidders. You want to make sure that the winning bidders have the best experience possible, because they're going to be the ones who come back year after year and consider buying travel again from you guys. So that's one thing that we pride ourselves on. We really try to take care of is the winning bidders, because we know that reflects on you guys. So just make sure, no matter what consignment travel company you go with out there, that you are asking these questions. Read the fine print, know the process, ask about the winning bidders. It's really, really key, becoming that educated buyer. When it comes to promotion is huge. You want to have, like I mentioned before, you want to have these these travel items both in your live auction, in your silent auction. There's raffles as well as online. There's also this super silent auction, which you may not have heard of out there. You can Google it. If you Google super silent auction, there's a great article out there. Read all about it. Our editor-in-chief of Winspire News, Sumi, has done a great job writing that. The fact of the matter is that what it is basically it's an almost live auction. It's a silent auction that's set aside, maybe has, it's a specially lit area that has items that are a little bit more expensive than the silent auction, but not quite the live auction, that, have a little bit extra oomph added to them. You might put it behind ropes, make people's attention focused on that. And these are where you're going to be your top tier silent auction items. And that's going to really drive attention to that area and get people to start bidding there. Raffles are huge, and it's a great way to use consignment travel, no risk travel. And the winner's choice raffle is one of our more popular solutions for this. And what you can do is basically select 3 to 4 travel options as the grand prize. So, and then sell tickets for $20, $50, $100, depending on how many people you think you can sell it to. And then the grand prize winner will get to choose from that selection of experiences. So that way you can have a broad range of appeals in terms. You can have a girls' getaway, you can have a boys' NASCAR experience, you can have a racing one, a wine one. Depending, again, know your audience, but depending on who you're targeting with these tickets, you can really have that broad appeal and help sell a lot more raffle tickets than just one item. Like even a car, not everyone wants a car, or things of that sort. So fundraising raffles are a great way. We've seen people, nonprofits, raise upwards of $10,000. So the way it works here is that you sell maybe $100 a ticket. If you sell 100 of those, right, that's $10,000. Then you back out the cost of the package. The package might be $2,500. Then you've raised $7,500. So a great tool for raising a few extra thousand.
What I love about this option too is that you don't have to do it in conjunction with your event. It doesn't have to compete with the same dollars that you are expecting to raise at your gala. Or anywhere else. Basically, this is something you can do on your own any time of the year. In fact, Giving Tuesday's coming up. This might actually be a great time to pick one of their packages and use it as a Giving Tuesday incentive.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. Raffles are great, like off season when you're not having an event, like she mentioned. You can even do it during the event. We've seen lots of nonprofits use, a winner's choice fundraising raffle during their event. People buy tickets, $50 at the door. The winner gets to choose from these travel experiences, and they'll sell like wildfire at the event. If you want more information on this, there's again, if you go to Winspire, I'll try to include the link, but u.winspireme.com. There's actually a raffle template and how-to guide that you can download there. I'm sorry, I should have put it on the slide there, but a great resource, especially for how to determine your ticket price. Basically, you want to know how many tickets you think you can sell. I think I can't remember. It's like divided by the number of how much you want to raise, and then you can figure out your ticket price. I think that's it. Yeah, does that sound about right?
Yeah. And I've seen this done successfully many times, is to limit the number of tickets you sell.
Yep.
To create that urgency and exclusivity. So if you were to say you are only selling 200 tickets at $50, for example,
that's $10,000.
Exactly, and people have to hurry to buy those tickets, or they may miss out on the opportunity.
And you can say, it's a 1 in 200 chance of winning, which, that's a whole lot better than the lotto, right? So, if you can sell that limited number of tickets, then people are going to spend a lot more money knowing that their chances are a lot higher that they can do it. So, great resource on this. Pre-event advertising. This is huge. Okay, this is one of the biggest parts about using travel in your auction. Okay, and one of the biggest pieces of emphasis that I want to put on using travel and how to maximize travel. Right. Condition your bidders and get them ready for the idea of travel in your auction. Get it in front of them somehow, whether it's part of your direct mail invitations, on social media and email, and I'll touch on those in a second. But you want to get it in front of bidders, letting them know that there's going to be these travel packages at your auction, because then they're going to come prepared to bid on it, right? And what you want to do is you want to prepare people so that they are ready to get into a bidding war, right? And if you and this goes in line with knowing your audience and asking them prior to the event where they want to go and what they want to do. And if you can align two bidders, right, two or three bidders, and figure out, oh, these people all want to go to Napa Valley, and then you let them know, hey, we're going to have this incredible Napa Valley experience there, you know that there's going to be three hot and ready bidders right there for you. And then that's going to make other people jump in on the bidding. So if you can condition your bidders and get them ready to bid on this travel that they already want, that's going to result in much, much better returns. And you think about it, Mr. and Mrs. Jones are sitting there, a couple weeks before the event, and they see whether it's on Facebook, an email, or in some sort of like auction catalog you send out, hey, look at there's going to be this Napa trip there. We've wanted to always go to Napa, or New York, or it could be in New Orleans. Then they're thinking about it. Then the conversation started, so they're not blindsided by the time they walk in the door. Oh my gosh, look, there's this $5,000 travel experience. I'm not sure. Then they're having the debate at the table whether they should do it. It's a totally different ballgame if you've preconditioned them to get ready for that bidding. And that's how you do this sneak peek, like I said, on social media and email newsletters and pre-selling. So get commitments from your top donors, from that top 15%, that they will bid on a package. Hey, and give them options. Say, hey, where do you want to go? What are you going to bid on? Then you're going to have some hot and ready bidders by the time the live auction starts, and then you're not just throwing items out there wondering who's going to bid on them, and then it falls flat, which does happen. So do your research, do your due diligence, and go find some packages that your audience is going to want to bid on. Now, Facebook is one of the best tools that you can use to promote your event. I'm going to say that again. Facebook is one of the best tools you can use to promote your event. All right? Facebook is free. Everyone's on Facebook, and you can create a free event page, and you can invite all of your friends, all of your constituents, and I guarantee you they are already on there, right? Not only on their computers, but they're on there on their phones. Everybody is checking Facebook, and it is a free resource and a great way to promote your event. So create an event page, put a simple bio, get a good picture up there, and then invite everyone you know to start following. And then you can start publishing posts about your auction items. Go ahead, Renee.
Yeah, I have to say too, of all the event promotion I see, I think this is one of the most commonly missed opportunities.
Absolutely.
Not only because it lets you invite people to the event and share the event, but it creates a conversation specifically about the event where you can put posts about your auction items, about the donor companies that are being so generous to you, specifically to the people who are interested. And it's not that they have to be coming to the event, but even that they support your organization and are interested in just knowing what's going on there. This is probably one of the best and free opportunities to stay in front of them leading up to the event and even beyond.
You're absolutely right, Renee. She made a great point too about interacting and commenting and liking, right? So here's a post that one of our clients did in May, actually, Young Actors, and they did all about Hamilton. Look at that at the bottom. 52 people reacted to it. Guess how many times they sold this experience? 3 times. They made probably $6,000 just from this one experience. It's because they got this going well in advance, and they promoted it. I was just at a marketing conference last week in Boston, all about marketing, cutting edge, the latest and greatest, what you should be doing. Guess what they were saying? Every single speaker. If you aren't already on Facebook, you are behind. You should be on Facebook. Your competitors are on Facebook. Facebook is a free promotion machine. So make sure that you have an event page where you can post. It doesn't only have to be about auction items. You can post things about your cause. Absolutely should be posting, updates about how much money you've raised, what things you've gotten donated, who acknowledge donors for underwriting aspects of the event, announce maybe like an entertainment or where the venue is, give people general updates, and you're going to start getting people really, really excited about the event and what they can look forward to. So huge opportunity for you out there. Facebook is a must have for promoting not only travel, but just your event in general. Also huge is email campaigns. we recommend still having those direct mail invitations out there, but you should also be emailing your constituents, trying to get them to buy tickets. Here's an example email that shows, right at the top has the event logo. They can buy tickets, and has a little picture from their cause, and then it also promotes auction items. It shows the live auction items that they're going to have at the event. Just include it at the bottom, just to of each and every email. Hey, here's what we're going to be promoting, here's what we're going to be offering you. And again, that's just to get the travel items or any of your best auction items. It doesn't have to be just travel, but travel is one of the best, right? In front of them so they can see them. We actually have a free resource that you can download, a beginner's guide to email event promotion. It includes some templates, a content calendar, and here's the link that you can download it at winspire.re/email book. And we're going to post this recording too so that you can have these links as well. But email is another really, really good. If you don't already use, whether it's MailChimp, Constant Contact, I think this email campaign example was built in Constant Contact. They have some really, really great templates in there that you can use that are really easy to drag and drop photos and put in content. You should be using one of those. They're called ESPs, email service providers. Don't be BCCing everyone from your Outlook. That is a no-no, big no-no. All right, you want to have nice graphical, cool email promotions to get people excited about your event. On the day of the event day fanfare, make sure that your biggest and best auction items have signage. All of our experiences come with a huge 22-inch poster that you can print off. I think you can print as big as 36 inches. Have it in your PowerPoints. You should have a big screen with a nice big projector that is showing pictures of not only the travel experiences but other items that you are going to be auctioning off in the live event, and also intermix it with pictures from your cause, things about the event, acknowledging donors. You can have a running slideshow going throughout the event that is just always up and always going, and then when the live auctioneer gets up there, and they start talking about an experience or a travel item, then make sure that there's pictures of that on the screen so that you're painting a picture for that, for the audience. And on that note, benefit auctioneers are by far, another one of the most important parts of, especially if you want to raise a lot of money, right? They know how to extract money from the audience, and they are well worth the investment to have them. They bring a lot of industry knowledge. They've been there before. They've done it. They know, and they can help you in your pre-event planning, timeline, setting the agenda, making sure that you're not wasting any time during your event, doing things that aren't going to be raising money. So. Another thing, so definitely a recommendation, if you're looking for a benefit auctioneer referral, we are absolutely available to do that for you. We got auctioneers all over the country and in Canada that would be happy to work with you on your event. So definitely get in touch with us for that. Subject matter expert, just make sure that if you do have consignment or travel in your auction, that there's someone who knows exactly how it works. They know the reserve price, because the last thing you want is to sell it to someone in the audience for below the reserve, right? And then then it's a really awkward situation of oh, look at you actually didn't win it because we didn't get enough money from it. So did you have something to say there?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I was going to say it does pay to have somebody overseeing your silent auction or live auction display in general. That's also something I've noticed at events that I've worked with. It sometimes falls by the wayside because you have, the event chairs are running around trying to greet donors and sometimes even take care of mishaps and logistics. And unfortunately, if raising money is one of the primary goals of your event, it's super important to make sure that there is someone to answer any questions about any items in your auctions, and especially the ones that will raise you the most money.
Totally. Yeah, like those items that you have, especially in the live auction, the super silent auction, and like Renee mentioned, the rest of your silent auction, make sure that you have people who know what they're talking about, and they're not just volunteers who you put there for no reason other than to just be there, right? So keep people informed. It's really, really important. All right, now the part you guys really care about, and that's about making a profit from your event. And that's what this is all about. I know that's kind of a business term, profit, but one thing I really, really always try to harp on is trying to get you guys to start thinking like a business and not a charity, right? And what's the difference there? Well, if you think like a charity is like, please please give me, asking for donations, open hand, a business, begging basically, if put it in kind of unfortunate terms, but it's true. Versus if you think like a business, you're thinking of it in terms of revenue and expenses equals profit. So I wish I had the equation up here and I would have put it up, but you want to drive as much revenue with as least amount of expenses, and that's how you get profit, right? Profit is what is going to result in a larger bottom line for you and really reaching your goals. So talk about it. Go ahead.
And sustainability is basically,
Absolutely.
it's not that we, as a charity, it's not all about just getting money and begging for money in a way so that you can pay for your expenses for the next year. It's a lot about setting yourself up to be able to continue your programs and doing what you're doing, but in a very sustainable way. And thinking more like a business will help you do that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when I say profit, it doesn't have to have any kind of, it doesn't have to be a dirty term, right? You can focus on profit for your event in the spirit of your cause and in the spirit of sustainability. But so often we see nonprofits that are, they're focused too much on the event or the party, on it being entertaining for the guests, without the attention to increasing the amount of revenue that they're going to get, keeping their expenses in check, and really keeping the profit as the fundraising, the focus on the fundraising, right, is what should be there. So with regard to your auction items specifically for travel, you want to set a good minimum bid. You want to ensure yourself a good return. And one thing that we recommend for consignment, and I feel like I didn't cover consignment really well for those of you who might not know it out there. There's for consignment travel, like Winspire provides, there's a nonprofit price, and you only pay that price after the event, and only if it raised money, if someone actually purchased it for and got you a return. So what should the minimum bid be? Should it be the nonprofit price? No, it should not, because you don't want one bidder to go spend $3,000 on a package and you get nothing, right? It should, and don't start at the price of the package thinking that, oh, the bidding's going to start and accelerate. Well, if you offer it and only one person raises their hand, there's nothing you can do. You have to sell it to that person. So we do not recommend starting at or below the nonprofit price. Start out with a good return. Give yourself a 20% markup, right? So that's our rule of thumb over here is you want to start at 20% over the package cost. Then you're going to get a healthy return. If it's a $3,000 package, you're going to make $600. Right? And that's to begin. And then you can, if you did your homework and you prepared your donors for bidding, then it can only grow from there, right? And on top of that, one of the best things you can do with no risk consignment travel is you can sell multiples. And this is huge. This is a great tool for, especially if you've conditioned a lot of bidders and there's a lot of interest in a package and you have 3 or 4 bidders who are going after an item. You can stop the bidding and then you can sell it to all 3 of them. So an example might be, that $3,000 package. You might have 3 bidders. You've gotten all the way up to $4,000. So you've officially already made $1,000 if the 2 of them drop out. But stop the bidding and say, you know what? We have all 3 of you here. What if we stop the bidding here? Or you could even wait until one person, keep going until one more person drops out and say, we're going to stop. I saw you dropped out at that last sum. What if we bring it down for the 2 of you up here to that price, and I just sold it to all 3 of you? Would you guys be okay with that? 9 times out of 10, they're going to say absolutely. And instead of $1,000, you've made $3,000, which is incredible. Okay. Other things we've seen is groups of people, like at tables. We've turned our 2-person experiences into group experiences. So if a table wants to all go to Napa together, they can all pool their resources, and we've seen experiences sell 5 times to large tables that all are kind of interested in doing that. That takes a little bit more skill and a really an auctioneer who knows the audience, but it's a great way to raise a ton of money.
Yeah, and I have to say, consignment packages like this are the only type of package you can do that for.
Correct.
You can't go get more donations from other companies. So
yeah, you can't sell a flat screen, one flat screen you got multiple times. It's one of the really savvy event fundraisers know to use this tool to the maximum ability. So if you have more questions about that, we'd be happy to answer them. But it's definitely a great tactic.
Yeah, and benefit auctioneers typically know
Totally.
that,
Yep.
so they won't forget to offer more.
Right. Only a couple more tips here, then we're going to get to questions here. I can see you guys have some questions for us. Let's see here. Underwriters. This is a hot tip. I put that there because this is hot, right? Securing underwriters is huge. So for those of you who, I'm sure you guys know, right? Underwriters are out there for, you go solicit them and ask them to underwrite aspects of the event, whether it, it could be anything from the wine, the table linens, the flowers, the food. One great thing that you can do is secure underwriters for no risk travel packages. So, and it's a great way to recognize those donors, because these are going to be travel packages that you use in the live auction, right? And so the auctioneer or the MC can stop and say, the following trip was donated by, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and then everyone gives them a round of applause, and then it's on with the auction. It's a great way to recognize them instead of just putting them in the program, right, as their company logo in the program or their names in the program. It's a really great way to recognize them in person in front of everybody. And if you haven't figured it out yet, these events, oftentimes, I hate to say it like this, it is about, stroking the ego of these wealthy donors. And so you want to make sure that you are recognizing them as much as possible, especially when they donate their money. They want to know that it's going to go to a good cause and all this. So recognize them in public so everyone can give them a round of applause is a good thing to do. All right. It's just a matter of fact. So recognize donors who sponsor trips, and, give them a choice. Say like, hey, we have 5 trips that we're going to be including. Would you like to, underwrite the cost of this trip in our live auction? And it's met with, we've found, a really high success rate. Cool. Last but not least, those winning bidders. Make sure that when you're using travel for, in your auction, that your winning bidders are taken care of. And if it's donated items that you've include, make sure that you give them the certificates and that you follow up with them. Take them out to lunch after their experience. Ask them how it was. Really use the opportunity that travel presents to nurture these donors and keep them coming back year after year to buy these items from your event. With our packages, the no risk packages, of course, we take care of your winning bidders. We survey them. We ask them how their experiences was. But more importantly for you, it's a great, like I said, it's a great opportunity to connect with them again. Hey, call them up. Say, how was your experience? We want to know. Tell us everything. Give us pictures. Share on Facebook. It's a really great tool for building those relationships and retaining donors. And that kind of concludes the reasons behind why we think travel is such a great fundraising tool. So with that, for those of you who are interested out there, we have this free gift to give you. You can go to this URL right at the bottom of the screen, Winspire with that dot in the middle of the I and the R, /400-items, and you can download 400 amazing auction item ideas. It includes travel, things you can get donated locally, food and wine, general experiences, and a whole host of other things. So definitely check that out if you get a chance.
And of course, if you're not already on Donation Match, go ahead and check us out too. It's free to get started, donationmatch.com.
Great. Cool. Now we're going to open it up. If you guys have any questions about maximizing travel, how to use it, if we didn't cover anything, if you wish we would have gone into more detail on anything, now would be the time to post a question in the questions panel. Over on the right side, it says questions. You can type in a question there. Looks like we don't have any questions.
About 10 minutes left.
10 minutes left. Michelle Davis, you have a question for us? Oh, here we go. Thank you, Sierra. Do you have any? Can you go into further detail about Donation Match works? Oh, yes.
Oh,
go
sure.
ahead.
Hi. So, yeah, of course, I'd be happy to answer that. So, basically, Donation Match, you can think of it like a Match.com. We've done the work of building relationships with companies of all types, typically the ones that will donate gift certificates and products for auctions and raffles. And what we do is we actually solve their problems in terms of getting too many communications through all their different channels, email, phone calls, contact us. And they've basically agreed to be put into our auction catalogs on Donation Match. And the way that nonprofits access that catalog is we have you apply to our system, and it's basically the same information you would give to any donor company. And once we do that, then you will be invited to post your event information in our system and be able to basically access the catalog and items that you qualify for in one place and be able to select them like your online shopping. So it makes it super easy once you're inside to be able to see items that are readily available to request. Companies do respond back to you themselves, but basically, our goal is to turn that $300 hours worth of donation procurement effort into what eventually can happen in just maybe an hour online.
Love it. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked it out yet, definitely go to donationmatch.com. Renee has put together an incredible ecosystem of both vendors who are donating items and then also nonprofits who are looking for them. So definitely go check it out. I was very impressed with what I've been seeing. What about from Michelle Davis? Yeah, thanks for that question, Sierra. Michelle Davis, what about Canadian dollars? Good question. As far as if you're asking in terms of no risk travel, we have all of our packages come in Canadian dollars. You can go to the website, and at the very bottom you can actually switch it from American flag to the Canadian flag and see what the Canadian prices are like. Also, one of our fundraising specialists would be happy to get more details for you. Tom. Suma, how long does a winning bidder have to go on one of the Winspire trips? All of our Winspire trips, they have up to a year to book, and then they can book it as far out as they wish. So they get their travel booking vouchers shortly after the event is over and the experience is paid for, and then they have up to a year to book their travel. And again, it can be booked for a ways out. Brad Snyder. Who can we contact to have a subject matter expert if we do not have one for our event already? I guess you think that has to do with if you're speaking in terms of no risk travel. We have plenty of information that we can give you for the day of the event. All of our fundraising specialists are willing to stand by and even coach someone on your team or your committee members if need be about the experiences so they can be prepared. So there's definitely resources there. But as far as that's preparing somebody, a subject matter expert, it's just good to make sure that your volunteers are familiar with all the items. It's not just about travel or the consignment. Just make sure that they're not just behind the table and they don't answer with "I don't know." It's good to make sure that they are knowledgeable.
Yeah, and I have to say, as the silent auction chair of an event before, sometimes that's been me. Because I'm the most familiar with the packages that we've put together and the donor companies and have talked to them personally oftentimes. So it could be that someone on your procurement committee possibly, but having a cheat sheet for maybe some
Great
of the
idea.
most frequently asked questions is also helpful, but it should be someone who has participated in silent auctions before, knows how they work. You don't want someone green out there. But, honestly, you would be surprised at the types of questions you get. Some people have never been to a silent auction. They don't even know how to bid or what the numbers mean. And, just someone who has been there before and is on your committee would likely be a good person to start with and simply give them the specific details they need about packages with, redemption times or terms and conditions.
Great question, Brad. Let us know if we answered that for you. This one's from Renee. This one's for Renee, too. I recently got a travel experience for a hunting experience in Africa. It does not include airfare. As a nonprofit, is this experience totally free on us, or is it a consignment donation?
So to specifically answer that question, that is actually a free package. It is 100% donation. That company is actually very generous in what they give and what they promote. So yes, that is 100% free.
What company is that? Do you know?
Global Sporting Safaris.
Oh, that's right. I've heard of them. Very
Yep.
cool. Well, congratulations on that donation,
Yes.
Renee. That's going to be a good one.
Definitely, that's a great package.
Hi, Ian. Is there same one from Renee or from Renee as well? Hi, Ian. Is there a minimum expense on the nonprofit to purchase such packages from Winspire? Every single package varies. They all have different prices. Depending on the package.
They're all very discounted.
Yeah. So what we do is we go,
below retail.
way below retail. We go out and we find vendors that we work with, and we're volume based here. So our margins are very, very low. We just, we do it to keep in business here, and then we want to keep those prices as low as possible so that you can go and sell it for much higher than that. So if you haven't already, check out our catalog online. It's winspireme.com. You can click on experiences and you'll see a list of all of our experiences that we have available around the globe. So each of them have different price points. Yeah, let's see. From Sierra, what is the best schedule strategy when using both an online auction and a physical event? Do you start the online pre-event, post-event, during, etc.? What have you seen out there?
I have seen all sorts, honestly. I think an interesting twist to this is that some nonprofits will start the online auction prior to the event, but then close it at the event. Now, I know that creates a little bit of extra work and maybe a lot of last minute attention needed to the online auction, but I think the ones that have done that have done it to actually encourage people at the event as well, where they will actually take the bids from online and finish those, basically stop the online bidding and finish it at the physical event so that anyone attending the physical event has the advantage of essentially swooping in and outbidding anyone else if they want to.
Interesting. Yeah, with these, there's so many different strategies that you can employ. As far as pre-event, post-event, I know that if you have items left over, definitely post-event auction makes a lot of sense. One thing that we like to preach is that you don't want to put everything out that you have donated, especially if you got a ton of donations. You do not, or duplicates, right? You do not want to create a buyer's market where there is hundreds of items for a smaller audience, because then everyone's just going to go around and bid once on each item, right? You want to create a little bit of a supply shortage so that the demand increases. So even if you got a ton of donations, does not mean that you have to put them out in the auction. You can use them in a post-event online auction as well. So that's a great tactic.
Or a second chance online auction.
Second chance. Absolutely. Let's see. From Ann Walker, do you think you will continue to partner with preferred hotels and resorts in the future beyond 2017? Absolutely. Talked to one of our fundraising specialists. We got a ton of great properties still left for our 2017 inventory. And then, hopefully for the year after, the inventory will increase depending on our partnership with them. So we have some fabulous hotel properties that are at that great price point for your silent or super silent auction that you can absolutely use. So definitely get in touch with one of our fundraising specialists on our website. From Sierra, have either of you heard of any new fads using an auction this year? Always good to think of new ways to switch things up. New fads. Any new fads?
Wow.
Aside from maybe mobile bidding technology is on the rise this year. I've definitely seen a lot more of that. There's some great, the services and the technology is dramatically improved. So there's some great companies that we partner with. BidPal is one of them. Givergy, Gesture, Greater Giving, absolutely. Definitely do your due diligence and go research. What's the best fit for you. But yeah.
Actually, one tip I learned from your partner, Danny Hooper, on one of your webinars.
Danny Hooper.
That really sticks in my mind is how he was able to auction off a piece of artwork, actually for not necessarily to hang in the bidder's home, but to actually donate it back to the organization. And that was where the artwork was. You might be able to help me on
Yeah,
the details.
it's called the super signature technique, and it's a
Yes.
fabulous fundraising tool. Basically, artwork's tough, right? Artwork's tough to auction off because it's kind of subjective in value, and you might not hit the audience, really passionately at taste. So what you can do is instead of auctioning off the item, you can auction off, say it's $100 to sign the back of this painting or this piece of art, and then we're going to hang it in the the hallway, and then you can create a little placard for it, or if it's a photo that's framed with a piece of glass in front of it, you can have Sharpie people sign the front of it. We've seen that, and that's really, I mean, if you get 10 people to spend $100 on it, that's $1,000 for that piece of artwork. So that's been a really, really good technique. Another one that Danny Hooper actually is pioneering, which is great, is a wild card auction, which is just a fabulous way where you can actually solicit donations from the audience. That at the time of the event, you distribute flashcards, and you say, hey, if you would like to donate something for the live auction right now, and people just come up with the most random things, whether it's services or items, you can have them donate it right there at the event and then auction them off, and he's seeing great success in that. So definitely Google wildcard auction. You'll see some good resources out there for that.
Yeah, and that's actually great for catching owners of businesses who didn't even realize you were soliciting for your silent auction or didn't know how to contact you. And I know I've heard that happening a lot of times. As they're browsing the silent auction, they say, "Why didn't you ask me?"
Yep.
And that gives them that chance too.
Absolutely. Renee, what about the inventory donation match? Are you working to get more donations?
Yes, definitely. So we always are, of course. Interestingly, we have a large variety of companies in there. So I think that's what makes it difficult sometimes, is that because we have brands that have event giveaways through all the way up to trips and everything in between. Each company actually, they're thinking of this as both community giving and marketing. And so they have oftentimes very specific segments of events or causes that they like to support. So it's hard for us because obviously as we add new companies, not everybody sees them. Sometimes they're even a little more localized to different states, even cities. But we are definitely constantly working on it. We actually, I don't know if you realize this, but we're actually a small team of 2 who has filled this platform.
That boggled my mind when I found that out. I tell you what.
And we support over 5,000 events a year. So please, yes, if you have any suggestions for companies that you happen to know of that you think would benefit from a platform that not only streamlines the requests they're getting, but also helps them do marketing better by donating to your events, then please, by all means, let us know. You can write to us at support@donationmatch.com. You can actually write to me at Renee, RENEE, at donationmatch.com too. But yes, know that, the companies and donations we're partnering with into our system not just help everybody else as users, they help me as well. So I'm all on board for having every single company I can possibly think of in our system.
Awesome. Great. Yep. With that, Renee at donationmatch.com. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, and then for me, you can reach us here at Winspire, info at winspireme.com. Thank you so much to all of you who joined us here today. If you have any feedback or suggestions, we're going to be sending out an email with a recording of the webinar, as well as links to the various resources that we mentioned. So definitely look for that. And thank you. We hope to see you. Definitely stay tuned. We're going to have more webinars coming up. So stay tuned, and we look forward to seeing you around.